Dernier empannage après la ligne d'arrivée, la grande voile se déchire en deux. Donc.
If we lose one of these sails, it's pretty crucial to the race overall.
I'm really excited each time we speak about sails.
This is really the fun job of the sailor, you know.
There are some changes in the sail pack.
Definitely the last years especially, we've learned a lot about the sails, and I think it's going to give us a big step forward.
I think I sit there quite often daydreaming, imagining myself on the helm of this boat, how it's going to lift off the first time, probably on a nice summer day. It's going to lift off and we're just going to feel, wow, this thing is really nicely balanced, and we take it from there.
The things that give us power on the boat is the sails. Although the foils are helping us to use the power of the boat, we actually need the power in the first place, and that's where the sails come into the play. That's what generates the power, that's what gives us the watts on board the boat, whatever the wind is putting into the sails.
So it's a resulting force. And if you've got your wind coming from the port side here, your keel is producing a force to the port side, and your sails are producing a force slightly forward of the beam. When you result all of the forces, you get forward moment in the boat. The aim is to have a laminar flow across the sails. If you have a sail like this, you have airflow traveling on each side of the main, although the distance that the air needs to travel on the leeward side of the sail is much further than the windward side, so the air accelerates, so you get a low pressure zone on the leeward side, which causes the force of the boat to move forward. So it's producing a force in this direction due to the different air speeds on each side of the sail.
The sails are, of course, a key factor as well for our performance. So we have been already working a lot on the previous boat and taking a lot from that to the new concept, and working with the architect Antoine Koch and North Sails. And I think there is in parallel development of the architecture of the boats and the foils. So we should foil earlier. And once you foil, you need flat sails. When you don't foil, you need deep, big spinnakers. So there's always, this is the biggest area of uncertainty. Do we need a big spinnaker, a big gennaker? With a lighter boat with less drag and that can foil earlier, we're tending to go to flatter, faster sails, and that's the biggest difference.
And the Hydra really radicalized how we see the sails working as well. In the America's Cup as well, if we look back to before the boats were foiling, you saw them with big spinnakers and big jibs and having to choose a much big sail suit. And nowadays, a very small jib. What we're finding is once you're actually up and flying, the extra surface area is just creating drag. It's actually slowing the boat down overall, and it's really trying to find the balance of when we want the slightly bigger sails and when we want the smaller sails.
The IMOCA class has, of course, its own class rules, which are really aligned around the boat's security, performance, and of course the sporting equity. In 2018, we had a set of skippers, Boris being one, who really pushed forward the sustainability aspect of the class. What was our impact? Could we do more for science? Could we go a lot more further for the climate? So other ways the IMOCA class is trying to reduce the impact around sail production is, of course, limiting them. So we've gone from 8 to 7 sails on board.
And we're obliged for a storm jib, and then we have the little jib, the bigger jib, and a very large jib that goes all the way across, and then the mainsail. That's mostly it. And then we have something specifically to go downwind, a little bit bigger, but that's already it.
Pour un bateau comme nous, mis à l'eau en 2026 et inscrit à The Ocean Race 2027, on a le droit de faire 16 voiles maximum. Donc si on compare au nombre de voiles qu'il y avait avant sur la Volvo Ocean Race, il y avait à peu près 50 voiles de dessinées pour un bateau. Donc on a drastiquement réduit le nombre de dessins de voiles.
One of them will get to lift the Ocean Race trophy, keeping record of 50 years of victory and adventure.
Yeah, but the wind's going to drop off you.
Yeah, we just smack it upwards. First we refer to day 3.
One thing I really love is trying to use multiple sails at the same time. It's, you know, we have the main sail and we'll always use one head sail, but there's lots of opportunities now to be using 2 or even 3 head sails at a time. And
the tricky thing for every one of us to resolve in these boats, in this class, is how the front sails interact between each other.
And this is really the fun job of the sailor, you know, tweaking and adjusting the sails and trying to get the sails to work together and create similar shapes so that they become efficient and they help drive the boat forward.
Hi, Boris. And what we would like is to define exactly when we have to validate the shape of each sail.
The process of designing the sail for the new boat goes back to the previous boat and all the learnings we did then. Also the learnings that North Sails is doing on their sides. They do numeric studies with computer models. It takes them quite a while to build the sails. 5 months before the launch of the boat that we have to lock in all those choices in the design.
A study we have done over the summer. We wanted to have a feel or to evaluate the delta in performance between the quad and the mast at 0.
On a encore fait des petites optimisations vu que le bateau naviguera normalement plus vite et du poids des angles à devant apparemment plus fermés.
We fiddle around for ages to find the exact size, shape, where do we put a batten, how much depth, what exact shape, to find the right balance there. That's a big tricky thing, and there we went slightly different from what we had on the previous boat. You know, I feel that if we have our pedal here and a tweaker system, we can achieve the same with the tweaker.
Les IMOCA évoluent énormément en termes de vitesse, en termes de charge sur les voiles. Donc il faut que ce soit efficace dans l'ensemble de l'utilisation du bateau sur un tour du monde. Il y a forcément un peu de compromis dans le dessin des voiles. Et ensuite, il y a la production qui est lancée une fois que tout le monde est d'accord sur le design. Alors les voiles sont fabriquées exclusivement en 3DI, donc c'est une technologie filamentaire North Sails. Donc les voiles sont fabriquées sur un moule, sur un plancher qui se déforme en 3 dimensions et ça permet de respecter exactement la forme souhaitée. Les voiles sont en dynéma et en aramide, il n'y a pas de carbone dans les voiles d'IMOCA. Pour des questions techniques, le problème du carbone, c'est la longévité. Tout est lié à la structure qu'on va mettre dans les voiles. Plus la voile est lourde, plus elle va avoir de la structure, donc plus elle va durer plus longtemps. Il y a des équipes qui nous challengent plus sur le poids, d'autres un peu moins, pour justement gagner en longévité et en prise de risque, forcément, pour pas que les voiles cassent. On a déjà eu des cas, dont avec Malizia, avec des voiles qui cassent.
Got under the boat, around the keel and around the foil, and has a big hole in it now.
We had a bit of an issue with the kite. The kite went inside the foil and it got a rip, but that was...
Yeah. Well, this is a heat gun.
We had the opportunity to regroup all of the 6 IMOCA sail makers together around a table and discuss this matter. So what we wanted to do was create a system which allowed an impact reduction within the whole of the sail making industry, but also allowed them to incorporate their own ideas, their own innovations within sustainability. It was best to work on a system which scored the sail makers on these 3 aspects: energy, waste and transport.
Les membranes sont fabriquées à l'étranger, donc aux États-Unis. Toutes les voiles sont finies à vannes en IMOCA. Donc on a une contrainte, c'est de transporter les voiles entre les États-Unis et la France par cargo. Et aussi, on a investi dans du solaire.
And so we created the first certification, which is called Reduced Impact Sail Evaluation, or RISE, which allowed us to measure the impact of the sail in kilos of CO2 by kilo of sail or finished sail. It's a bit like the Nutri-Score on a packet of biscuits. We see a score which is from A to G. Well, this is what we see on sails, and we can see that the most impacting sails, of course, would be in the D to G grade, and the least impacting sails will be in the A to C grade. And then if sails want to go a lot further, well, they have to start looking at the materials so that their sails can still be as performant, but with different materials with a lower impact.
Donc aujourd'hui, on n'a pas vraiment le fin mot. Est-ce qu'il vaut mieux avoir des voiles avec des aramides, enfin des produits issus de la pétrochimie, ou est-ce qu'il faut mieux avoir des voiles avec un pourcentage de fibres naturelles mais qui durent moins longtemps? Ça reste encore un petit peu une question en suspens et sur laquelle tous les teams travaillent.
Pour un bateau neuf, on va mettre les voiles à poste. On essaye d'aller le maximum naviguer avec eux. On essaye d'optimiser les voiles si besoin, des petits détails de finition ou autre, si on se rend compte que le cahier des charges a évolué de l'équipe.
We build and maintain and design all of the soft attachment and ropes on the boat. We're the interface between the sails and the hull. One of the biggest challenges with an IMOCA specifically is trying to have lightweight reliability and performance. And also because we have so many ropes on the boat, everything has to be custom colors and blends and small tweaks in between ropes. This year we're working with Gleichstein. Gleichstein has two factories. The vast majority of ours are made in the factory in Slovenia, I believe. They do all the small diameter products, where the factory in Germany does the really big stuff. They work together on the design side and the feedback, so we can get to exactly where we need. And then we receive all of the raw materials here in Lorient. There's nothing that goes onto the boat that you can take out of the box and install. It has to be either spliced or stripped or modified in some way. It's definitely over 1,000 meters. It's a lot. Probably upwards of 150 individual ropes on the boat, and some of which require half of a day to build. Quite a lot of hours into getting everything on board. To make sure everything we build is strong enough, Gleichstein provides us with very reliable load data from the manufacturing. They can give us exactly what the rope will break at, and then we can use that along with information from the designer's previous experience to build something that's going to be reliable. The basis of going fast is being repeatable. The biggest thing that the sailors will see is that we use trimming marks to make sure everything is in the same spot all the time. And if the rope stretched too much, then that spot will move.
The sail is between 60 and 80 kilos, maybe a bit less for some. We have taken sails out at 110 kilos with the big STG wheel in all full colors, and it was just getting too heavy for the biggest sail that we had at the time. So we went, in the next iteration, we went to just the outlines of the STG wheel because the paint already weighs something, and we need to get these very big sails under 100 kilos so I can move them, that I have a better chance to move them. So sails may live here. This will be the go-to place for the sails here, and we probably just move them from one side to the others by kind of turning them around. They can also be strapped onto the deck, and if we go downwind and strong breeze and big waves, we might put them all the way in the back of the boat and put big straps around them to tie the weight to the back of the boat.